Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on.
The WNBA is in real financial trouble, and none of that changes until Caitlin Clark is back on the court. It is one more sign that the league still has not figured out how to protect the single player who brought it out of irrelevance and into the national conversation. This is a league that keeps getting in its own way while its biggest star sits on the sideline, and its flat-out refusal to acknowledge that reality is costing it millions of dollars every single day.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
Right now, with so much fake, drama, and social media noise cluttering everything up, actual facts are about as hard to come by as a packed WNBA arena when Caitlin Clark is not in uniform. When Clark went down with a quad injury on June 24th, it laid bare just how completely the league depends on one single player to keep itself going. And now here we are watching that same exact story happen all over again, with Clark sitting out indefinitely because of a groin injury.
Injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be.
Nationally televised WNBA ratings crashed hard, falling a massive 55% from an average of 1.818 million viewers when Clark was on the court down to just 847,000 when she was not. Indiana Fever games alone took a 53% hit, but this is where things stop being just bad and start being completely absurd. And by absurd, we mean a disaster that the league is simply refusing to own up to.
Went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th. National TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850.
While Caitlin Clark was out there doing what she does best, filling arenas, breaking TV ratings records, and pulling in record revenue, the WNBA was busy doing what it apparently does best: nothing when it came to actually protecting its most valuable player. The league seems quick to lecture everyone about basketball fundamentals, yet lets opponents target a player responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity with zero consequences. And here's the truly fascinating part. Fascinating meaning infuriating. This is not even the first time this exact thing has happened. The league just cannot seem to learn from its own past. It has been burned before by injuries to its top player, watching both revenue and viewership tank as a result. It is like watching someone touch a hot stove, get burned, then immediately reach out and grab it again, insisting they had no idea it would hurt.
It's alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her.
If you are enjoying this, go ahead and hit subscribe, because the financial damage here has been quick and severe. Fever ticket prices have collapsed by 71%, with some seats sliding from $860 down to $250. Even more telling, across every game Clark has missed, average ticket prices have fallen from $1,370 to just $80. And that number alone tells you everything about who is truly bringing people into this league. Venues that were moved into bigger arenas just to keep up with Clark-driven demand are now fighting to fill those same seats without her. Look at the Sparks vs. Fever rematch, one of the most anticipated games of the season, a matchup that once drew 2.25 million viewers and ranked among the most watched WNBA games ever played. Tickets for that game have since slipped from $210 down to $95. Without Clark, it is just another game that casual fans have no reason to watch.
What's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more.
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan has become one of the most vocal critics of how the WNBA has treated its biggest star. Her upcoming book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, is expected to call out the league's failures directly and without any sugarcoating. After Clark was once again targeted by opposing players, Brennan did not hold back, saying the WNBA keeps failing to rise to the occasion, and that right now, with more eyes on the league than ever before, this is exactly what those new viewers are walking away with. Her point is simple and cuts deep. League data shows Clark alone brings in more than half of all TV viewers, yet she is still being hit with hard fouls and cheap shots that are clearly meant to throw her off. It is the equivalent of a restaurant doing nothing while customers disrespect the one chef who is actually keeping the place full.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin.
It is turning into a frustrating cycle that just keeps repeating itself. Clark continues to get fouled by players who seem far more interested in sending a message than actually playing basketball. The Phoenix Mercury alone were responsible for 80% of the league's 30 flagrant fouls against Clark, with 5 of those coming in 2026. And there is no good outcome for her either way, because if she pushes back against the physical play, she gets labeled too aggressive, and if she stays quiet, she gets called too sensitive. The league has done nothing to fix a situation where nobody wins, and the financial damage is not just hurting the Fever, it is dragging the entire WNBA down with it. The league was already on pace to lose $50 million this season, even with the surge in popularity that Clark brought along with her. And the moment she stops playing, those losses speed up fast, with attendance dropping back to pre-Clark levels, TV ratings falling off, and merchandise sales grinding to a halt.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, you know, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark is to the
The most frustrating part is that none of this needed to happen. When Clark first entered the league, she was a humble rookie who constantly put her teammates ahead of herself and deflected credit at every turn. She dealt with criticism with a grace and maturity that would be remarkable for anyone, let alone a 22-year-old. The league had a real chance to support her, protect her, and use her popularity to elevate the whole sport. Instead, pettiness and internal politics ruined what should have been a celebrated moment for women's basketball. And the damage runs much deeper than ticket sales and TV ratings. Corporate sponsors pumped millions into deals built around Clark's success. And now with her out, some are beginning to wonder if those investments still make sense. All of it points to a larger identity crisis within the WNBA. The league wants to be taken seriously as a professional sport, but also keeps feeding into every manufactured controversy that gets social media buzzing. It cannot do both. Real professional leagues protect their stars and keep things fair. Chasing drama for attention is something else entirely, and it looks a lot more like a high school clique stirring up gossip just to stay relevant.
Yeah, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been?
To other professional sports leagues, the gap is obvious and honestly embarrassing. Picture the NBA allowing players to go after LeBron James with dirty plays for months while insisting everything was just fair competition. That would get shut down immediately with suspensions handed out before anyone could blink. Yet the WNBA seems perfectly comfortable letting this kind of treatment slide, almost as if any attention, whether good or bad, is good enough for them. The result is that fans are tuning out of other games, no longer trusting that the sport is being called fairly, all because of a toxic atmosphere the league created by refusing to protect its biggest star. And when your own fan base says they will not watch games without your best player because they have lost faith in the officiating, that is not just a ratings problem. That is a full-blown credibility crisis.
She's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a lot of female basketball players like I said.
The WNBA has had chance after chance to fix this and has fallen short every single time, making everything worse in the process. Every incident involving Clark should have pushed the league to lay down clear and firm rules around player safety and fair competition. Instead, the response has always been the same tired line about letting players play. And ironically, the clearest proof of just how valuable Clark is has come from her getting hurt, which is the exact outcome the league should have worked hardest to prevent. That 55% drop in viewership is not some small detail to brush past, yet there is very little sign the WNBA has actually taken the lesson to heart. League officials keep falling back on phrases like competitive balance and letting players be physical, as if dangerous plays were just a normal part of the game, while treating routine plays involving Clark like major emergencies. All the while, the genuinely dangerous hits against her keep getting ignored.
The physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves, because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?
The WNBA needs to decide what kind of league it actually wants to be. And honestly, the fix is not that complicated. If they want to be taken seriously as a professional basketball organization, they need to start behaving like one. That means putting real player safety rules in place and actually following through on them. Manufactured controversy cannot keep drowning out the basketball itself. Most importantly, the league needs to recognize that its biggest draws, the players who genuinely fill arenas and push TV numbers up, deserve protection from the kind of targeting that only feeds social media drama. The steady drop in revenue, attendance, and viewership since Clark stepped away is a sharp reminder of where the league was before she got there and where it could easily end up again if nothing changes. This season's average viewership without Clark sat at just 555,000, well below last year's average of 670,000. Those numbers look a lot like a return to the old days, half-empty arenas, and low-stakes games watched by only the most dedicated fans.
Because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA. I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, How y'all gonna make and
The most frustrating part is that none of this was unavoidable. If the WNBA had properly protected and promoted its star player, it could have used her popularity as the foundation for something that actually lasts. Instead, it built something far more fragile, a structure that falls apart the second its biggest draw walks off the court. Until the league works out how to protect and lift up the players who are genuinely bringing in real interest, it is going to keep riding this same roller coaster where one player's presence or absence determines whether anyone bothers to watch at all. The real question is whether the WNBA will finally learn to hold on to what it has, or keep repeating this same cycle until it has burned through every single advantage that Clark's popularity handed it. Based on everything we have seen so far, the league does not appear to be in any rush to figure that out. Let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next one, and we will see you there.